Hi, welcome to your reality check vision board. Reality check vision board. Yeah? Two important words, because what we want to do is to have a vision board that is not only realistic but also achievable, right? And in order for it to be achievable, we have to be doing actionable steps. And so we want to have an actionable vision board and not just, being in the clouds, fantasy. Fantasies are great, dreams are great, and this reality vision board actually has a dream section, right? But it's realistic, achievable, actionable dreams. Aligning your next chapter with reality. So there's three strands, right? The now, the stretch, and the dream. The now is what I am able to do now, what I can achieve now. And by now, we don't mean now, Southern African term, now. No, we mean now as in 2026. If your circumstances do not change, what can you achieve now? The next thing is how I will stretch myself. If you gave yourself an extra, you've said 10-20% stretch, what is the thing that you can actually achieve? Because I think sometimes people try and do 100%. You try and be new me, new you, and that makes you so guilty when you don't achieve it. And it actually negates the fact that in the next year, in 2026, you're just trying to be a better version of yourself. You're not gonna be, I just feel like it's so unrealistic to think you're gonna be you'll be a new you in the sense that there'll be a better version of you. But it's like, that's just, that's it, a better version of myself. And so there's another better version for 2027, another better version for 2028. And so just don't try and be the finished article. Don't try and be the finished product for 2026. Just try and be a better version of yourself for 2026. And then there'll be the dream. So why I will continue to dream? Because dreams are just as important. I don't think you should stop dreaming. I don't think you should, a part of dreaming is what gives life that little sauce, that little thing, But at the same time, I think you can have realistic and achievable dreams, Open the door, James. That kind of stuff. That's what we're trying to do. But in reality. Yes? Okay. So, in the now, pick three things. What can you do now? If your circumstances don't change, same salary, same place where you live, same job, what can you do but that will make your life feel that much better and different from 2025? Yeah? So some things, it's like maybe a games night. You can do 4 games nights next year. 1 game night every 3 months. That's doable, that's achievable, and that will give you bigger social life than you did in 2025 if you didn't host any game nights at all, right? And also with that, it means that if you say 4, and part of the reason why I identify 4 is that it's important for you to be accountable. So try and name the thing. So I think sometimes we say, game nights, and then we just leave it at that. Say 4 game nights. That way, you can put them in your calendar. So if you set a game night every 3 months, that's a game night in March, game night in June, game night in September, a game night in December. You can even theme them right now. 4 game nights. There'll be a theme. There'll be the March one, which will maybe be after Valentine's or Galentine's, games night. You can have your June one, which is the summer one, Ibiza game night. You can have your September one, which is, getting into autumn game night. You have a December one, which is your Christmas games night. Done. Put that in your calendar. Send that out to your friends. Start sussing out dates. You can do that now. That's achievable. Put that in the now. Do it now. So even if it's something like, if you're going to do the whole workout thing, work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Don't give yourself the 45 minutes, the half marathon, the this, that, and the other. If you have not been working out, if you say 3 times a week, 30 minutes, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to do, so it's like just things that you can name, that you can say out loud, and that you can achieve. So for me, for example, my now is to edit the 2 films that I shot in 2025. That's my big now that I need to do. You really want to focus on like what feels stable, right? You don't want to destabilize yourself with the now. It's about like, what can you do that will still keep you feeling stable, not anxious. Yeah. So find those things. And then the stretch is now something that you can add an extra 10-20%, right? Again, not new me, new you. It's extra 10-20%, right? You can't go from an intern to CEO. I mean, you could, right? And let me not stop your dreams. And you could win the lotto, right? Let me not stop your dreams. But the problem is that people talk about winning the lotto without actually playing the lotto. That's the problem. It could be you, but also it might not be you. But the only reason why it can be you is if you actually play. This is not a gambling ad, by the way. It's just that if you are actually going to be about it, and you're putting £2 a week to do that, that's 52 weeks, 100 and what? What's that? Yeah, 104 pounds. So put that on the side then, if that's what you're going to do. But that's what I mean. So it's like, be about it. Yeah. And in this, it's more, for example, if you want to get a promotion, what are the 3 things that you need to do to get a promotion? The next 3 steps. If you want to get a new job, right? The stretch is about fixing your LinkedIn. It's about scheduling headshots, right? Get your professional headshots, new ones made up or whatever for your LinkedIn. Or whether you're doing them at home, you ask a friend, people who have these really nice phones these days, right? That's achievable. That is achievable. People have nice phones, can take nice pictures, and you can put that as part of your diary. Find a friend and say, hey, in February, do you have a day where you can come to my place, or where we go somewhere that's quite neutral? And then you can, take a couple of outfits, take those pictures, and your LinkedIn. What is a course that you can take that will just get you that much, you want to it's that thing that gets you just across the line just a little bit. What's the hobby that you've always wanted to try? Start it. That's the stretch. How do you add it to your daily life? Is it that you're watching an hour's video every 2 weeks based on the hobby that you're trying to do? Achievable. Are you trying to go somewhere, right? In terms of going on holiday, where is a realistic place within your budget that you can go to? Start making the plans. That's on the stretch. And that's 3 items. So you should see 3 pictures. Yeah? Okay, so my stretch, I'll give you an example of my stretch. My stretch is that with the short films that I'm editing in the now, they're part of a trilogy of short films. And so my stretch is to shoot the 3rd and final film in the trilogy. I can do that. If I can do 2 films in 2025, I can do another one in 2026. Not easily, because the other ones, to shoot them was really tough. And so realistically, I can shoot another one in 2026. So that's my stretch. And then my dream is a screening for the 3 films. So that's doable, that's actionable, but that's going to take a long time, because actually putting together a screening, paying for a screening, getting people to come to a screening, the marketing, the advertising, getting friends and family to come through, that takes a bit of a longer time. That's why it's part of the dream. Yeah. And so a dream can be, let's say you're doing all the workout thing, because that's an easier one, I think, to give an example, is that then the dream is to do High Rocks 2026. That's an achievable dream, because already you have an idea of when High Rocks is, right? I think it's like November, December of 2026. So part of your workout journey in the now and in the stretch is building up to High Rocks 2026 that you can put in the calendar, and you can work backwards about what it is that you need to be High Rocks fit. Yeah. So if you're doing your couch to 5K, map that out for the year. If you're doing your half marathon, map that out for the year. Yeah. And also part of the dream is, sometimes I think people put in their dreams, in their vision boards, they'll put like buying a new house when you don't have deposit money, when you don't even have a plan for how you will get the money to do the deposit, right? But what it is that you can achieve, for example, is the look that you're going for in this dream home that you want to buy. So it might be that you can achieve getting the couch that looks like the one that's in the dream home apartment. You can paint your living room, for example, in the style of this dream home that you want to buy. You can, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's about bringing like an elevated version of yourself where you know you can achieve the things and it's guilt free. Because I think that's the problem, is that when you don't achieve the dreams that you put in your vision board that live in fantasy land, you feel guilty and you feel like you haven't actually achieved. And so that then sometimes can make people not do anything. But these things are actionable. And so part of the vision board is that there'll be a checklist. So in your now, for example, in the edit, for me, when I've put to edit the short films, there'll be a checklist for I need to have done this by this time. What is it that I need to edit, right? And then in the stretch, for example, which is to shoot this next film, when can I have a realistic script ready? When would be a realistic time to pencil in to actually do the shoot? The location's in a restaurant, so I need to schedule in a time to go and see the owners. For the screening, what is the ideal screening place, like cinema, that I want to screen in? So part of the checklist is, in this ideal cinema setting, how much is it? Do they take private bookings? If they take private bookings, what day of the week do they normally take them? What's a realistic time frame, right? In terms of like, they only do private bookings on Wednesdays, and you can only screen your film between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. At least then that I know, then it's like, oh, if I don't want to screen it that late or that early, then I can decide to go somewhere else, right? But then I can still achieve the screening. So I think it's just important to be able to have those things, right, that you can checkmate. Okay, so with each image that you choose, I need you to ask yourself why you're choosing it, right? Does it inspire you, or does it quietly shame you? It should inspire you. It shouldn't shame you. It shouldn't shame you into feeling like you haven't achieved anything, or that you haven't done what you want to do. It should really be something that's making you think, haha. You know, because I think with vision boards as well, if you can do it, right, digitally, and then try and print it, and then have it somewhere visible where you can say, this is where we're going. One of my favorite things about the vision board that I did last year was to highlight, like to use a highlighter, because I printed it out and then I put it by my work desk. And so whenever I did something, I would highlight it. One of the places that I'd wanted to go to on my vision board for this past year was Greece. And so being able to highlight Greece was great. And the reason also why I am laughing is because in the vision board that I did for 2025, I had put Greece, I had put Sardinia, I had put somewhere in Morocco, I had put a lot of different things, but actually I hadn't even thought about how I was going to get there. You know, I hadn't thought about financially, I hadn't thought about realistically, I hadn't really broken it down the way that I think I should have. And so that's why I think this year, rethinking the vision board, I was like, we can't be doing that. Because when I look at this vision board, it was nice to see the highlighted bits, but also there was a sinking feeling of seeing the stuff that I didn't highlight. But when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, but I'd put 4 other destinations. That was not realistic. So that was not going to happen. And so I look at that and it's like, I'm shaming myself. But why am I shaming myself when I wasn't realistic and I wasn't real about what it is that I can do, that I can manage, that I can achieve? And I think that's such an important thing when you're doing these vision boards. Like, it really has to be an image that inspires you, you know? And it's like, do I understand why I'm doing this? Am I doing it for someone else? Is it because that's what the girlies are doing? No, what do you want to do with girly? Let the girly be you. Right? Because if the girly is you, when you see that image, it's like, that's what I want. It's not about what someone else wants. And so you will do what you need to do to get what you want. You get so much more motivation in doing that than in doing what everyone else is doing, what everyone else wants for their life, what everyone else is, you know what I mean? And the big thing, that's why I was using the word actionable. Don't put an image where there is no action, where there's no actionable step. There has to be some form of action that you can do. And so part of the actionable step will then be in the checklist. So I will, so for anyone who is watching this, obviously you've seen my vision board and what I'm putting on there. But also, you can create your own. If you're someone who is tech savvy, feel free to create your own in the same style that I'm doing or something different. And for those who are just like, you know what, lazy, yeah, there's a template. So down below, for a small fee, obviously. But it's something that will be easy to fill in, that will have the, you know, checklists that you can put in there, and hopefully something that will help you, you know, tailor it to your liking, tailor it to the way that you want, and a way that will inspire you. Because really a lot of this is about being inspired, doing something that's achievable, something that will align with the next chapter of yourself. Yeah. And something that I think for me should bring you joy, should spark a joy, you know. That's what we want to do. And so with the vision boards, I hope you do everything that's on there, or at least 90%. You know, 90% is good. That's a pass rate. That's cum laude. 90%. So think about it. Yeah. And then it will have the checklist page, and it will have a guide page, which is part of what I'm doing now, which is really just about guiding in how you fill out the reality check vision board. So if there are any filmmakers out there, I am doing a visual planner for you for your next film. So check this space, as they say, subscribe, like, follow, all the things if you want to know about what's up. And so the visual planner right now is for a short film. I'll do one for like a bigger project, I think, and then maybe potentially just like general projects, in the same way that this vision board is, you know, for anyone, for anybody. So yeah. Do you want a rundown? Let me give you a rundown of my vision board. Of what I have. So in my 3 nows is to edit the short films that I shot in 2025, finish writing a script, the script that I've got, that I more or less have everything. I've got the structure, I've got maybe the first 40 pages. I just need to write the next 30 pages, and it's realistic because that's something that I can do. I enjoy writing, and sometimes script, if I've got the general gist of it, I just need a couple of days. So I just need to map out the days in which I'll be writing and finishing the script. But also because there's actors that I want to do the film, so this is a feature film, and I want to be able to give them enough time in 2026 to look at the script, for us to read the script. And so what I'll do in my checklist is about writing the script, but also when realistically I can send it to the actors and potentially have a read-through, so a table read-through of some sort, like a virtual one, or maybe where we can all meet up and do a read-through, right? So that's something that I can do in the now, if I've got that. And then the third one, actually I put that in my now, is to shoot the last of the trilogy. So I put that in the now. Interesting. And then in the stretch, my stretch had been for the screening. That's the stretch that I'd done. And then the next stretch is working out. I have not been to the gym in over a year. So I now need to add my 2 to 3 days of working out per week. So I've put 2 to 3 times a week for 30 minutes. That's my stretch. So we'll see how that goes. And then the next stretch is to go on a beach holiday for a week. So usually I go on a lot of different holidays in Europe when I'm financially stable. But 2025 showed me flames. So 2026, we're just going to aim for 1 7-day beach holiday somewhere where there is a beach. And I've just put Sardinia because I want a beach, good food, flamingo, right? Those are the things that I desire for me. So that'll be my stretch, is Sardinia. Maybe a Greek island. Because I've been to Rhodes and I've been to Zakynthos. And I love Greece. So I can't even say that enough. So maybe that might be my little extra stretch. But really the first stretch is Sardinia. I want to go to Sardinia for a week. So I'll put that as my stretch. Dream relocation. So as a filmmaker, African filmmaker, I really want to go on the continent and work. So I want to write, direct on the continent. And so the dream is about relocation paperwork. That's what I need to start doing. So I don't need to necessarily relocate in 2026, but the paperwork has to begin in 2026. So I need to do a checklist of what are the requirements, visa requirements. What do I need to have in my bank account? The kind of places I can rent when I get there. So I need to look into the places, that people go to when they're looking for apartments to rent in those countries. See what the realistic amounts are, and then tailor that to my savings, which is part of the dream. So the next part of the dream is about finances, so that I just get myself back in check financially. And so part of the actionable thing is about creating realistic budget. And part of the realistic budget within the dream is looking at what is the cost of relocation, what is the cost of the screening that I'm trying to do, what is the cost of Sardinia, what is the cost of directing that short film. So it all ties back to the rest of the vision board and what it is that I'm trying to achieve. Yeah, hope that makes sense, and hopefully you can see it visually what I've done. So I'm trying to make it plain for myself, just so that you can see, but also you can jazz it up as much as you want. And I think also what you could do is you could do the core one digitally, print it out, and then you can add pictures from magazines on the printout. You can add those things as well as you go along. This is your vision board. This is your vision. That's why I'm trying to be very, don't dream anyone else's dream. Doesn't work. Does not work. It does not work. This has to be yours. Your vision board. So you do it the way that you want to do it, and you do it the way that will inspire you. I just want you to be inspired to just go for 2026, because like I said, 2025 really made a lot of us like tentative and just anxious about trying to even dream. It made you anxious about trying to claim things, because you're like, if I claim and then this life no balance. Oh, but actually, you know what? What's the point of living? What's the point? You know? So reality check, vision board, get it going. Let me know how you get along as well, because I'm really excited. Like when I did mine, I'm looking at it, I'm going, okay, we're gonna do this, and yeah. So in the extra bits, like the next page for my vision board is doing digital projects like this. So I think it's important that when I have these ideas, to have them also be accessible, but also in a way that potentially that can put me in a place where I can, make films. So that's part of the thing. So if you do buy the template, that funding, that money is going to go towards me being a filmmaker and making my, vision board come true as well. So yeah, let me know how you get along. Anyway, it's getting dark, so I need to leave where I am. It's such a beautiful park. I wish... let me see. Can I show you? Can you see the water? There's people still like jogging and stuff. So it's just a beautiful place. I thought, let me go out here. Let me come here to the bench and speak to you. And I think, yeah, it was great. At least then I can leave feeling calm. I just want to be somewhere where I can be calm and hopefully impart all this great stuff. So yeah, deuces.